Often that Juddmonte, for all the races he went around the world, has a horse in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say that it's something that we set out not to be there for any reason. Everyone would love to win the Kentucky Derby. Maybe the majority of our broodmare band might be set up more for turf racing, and we do have a core group that we're trying to expand at the moment to get more dirt classic type runners, and obviously Hofburg is a product of that section of the broodmare band, and hopefully good enough to put some roses over his withers.
Yeah, well, so Empire Maker was the last time you had a horse in the Kentucky Derby. A good horse to have.
Yeah.
Just a little unlucky with that foot bruise, and gosh, does it seem like that was 2003?
Yeah. We had Empire Maker in 2003. We had Aptitude, I think, in 2000, and he was second as well. And then we ran fifth with Eltish. That would be about, I think it was around 95, 96 or so. So it's been a little time between dances and a longer time between the last one to this one, you know, but it's hard to get here, you know. I mean, there's plenty of years that we've had horses that we thought would get there, including Arrogate, and, you know, but a bump or a bruise along the road just knocks you out. So it's hard to get here, and it's even harder to win. So when you get the chance, you got to go for it.
So he broke his maiden, and then Bill Mott put him in the Florida Derby. How would you characterize that move? I guess I'm thinking of it as maybe a little on the aggressive side for Hall of Famer Bill Mott.
I wouldn't call it aggressive in that I think from the very beginning, when he was a 2-year-old, Bill had a very high regard for him. He had identified him back in probably July of his 2-year-old year as being the best horse in his barn, the best 2-year-old in his barn, he thought. Or that was the first time that he mentioned it to me. Finished fourth, obviously, at Saratoga, and ran a very promising race in a good maiden. And then after that, just ran into a few little issues that, you know, just set him back a few months. So in our minds, we did discuss it over the winter. Each time we'd get set back 3 weeks or whatever. Is this going to knock him out of the Derby? And I think in both of our minds we had accepted, okay, he won't make the Derby. We'll think about maybe something like if he's good enough to Travers or whatever. And then he just started to come around really quickly, and won his maiden race well, and just decided, well, let's see, because the horse, he's not a backward horse, and you know, I think the horse was dragging Bill there, and it was entirely Bill's call. But when you get a horse that's doing everything right, and he's telling you that he's forward mentally, and you know, it's the Derby is the Derby. I think you got to let them prove that's the only way to prove if they're going to be able to do it or not.
Big Brown was the first horse since Regret in 2015 to win the Derby in his 4th career start. But one thing you don't have to, as with Big Brown, answer the question about is he did race it too. But it is asking. I mean, how big? How much is it asking for any horse, like you said, to get there? But for a horse, you know, so lightly raced.
Well, there are two things that the multiple starts will give to a horse. A, fitness, which is obviously very important if you're running in the biggest race of your life. 20 runners, 1.25 miles for the first time. And, you know, B, how to handle situations like that mentally. And I think a horse like him, that's going to be, I'm not worried about the fitness. We've got a Hall of Fame trainer, and you've got a horse that I think will have natural stamina. You just have to look at his pedigree. The mental side of it, yeah, how you handle the day, you'd have to worry about it off only 4 starts. And the horse seems to be a very intelligent, sensible, professional type of horse, but you don't know how they'll react on a day with 160,000 people. So that would be something I think that the inexperience will create an if on, but not enough to say because of that we're not going to be here. No, I think you've got to, especially a horse like him that seems to have such a classy personality, you've got to pull the trigger and go.
You'd hate to have, after the fact, have second guess yourself if you didn't try it. You
Well,
know?
exactly, you know, and it's, you know, we had discussions about that, and we know that it's going to be one of the best derbies in recent years. But when you've got a horse by Tappet out of Soothing Touch, half brother to multiple Grade 1 winner from a fantastic family, you've got a top trainer, you got a top jockey. You cover all the angles and you do the best you can, and hopefully the horse is just good enough. And we've got a lot in his, you know, in his accomplishments and his pedigree and his looks. He's a beautiful looking horse. So you know, there's a lot to give us encouragement that he will be.